What's up? Oh my goodness. Okay guys, so what's going on? Hopefully you can hear me because I've been having some technical difficulties here that just can't seem to get straight, can't get right. So right now I am doing Virgo moon. Can y'all believe it? It took me long enough. So I'm on Virgo moon, and I'm starting off with Virgo moon. And as you guys know, this is conjunct. We're speaking about conjunct compatibility. And I mean, it's the same sign, you know, when you start speaking in conjunction when it comes to degrees and all of that. I'm not really talking that technical, although from what I've seen is pretty much the same thing. You know, it's pretty close to the same thing. It just may play out a little bit different. The strength, the weaknesses, you know. But anyways, so Virgo moon compatibility with Virgo moon is very understanding. These two can communicate very, very well with each other. These two have shared joint goals. They could both be workaholics or into working on something. See, people don't understand. They don't understand. Like, you know, when you're looking, a good way to help interpret the energy is like, don't always just look at it for what it is. You know, when, for example, because I shouldn't say it like that. For example, when we're speaking about work, yes, work could be a job, like money, something you do and you get paid in return, or you can turn something that you do into a job, into a way to get paid. Virgo moons can do this, or they look to do this, okay? But you can also work on something. So let's say you have an interest in playing video games. You're going to work at it. Even when other people are like, why do you keep doing that? Like, why do you keep playing these video games? Why do you keep... So this is something that they have in common with each other. They will understand each other's need and desires to work on things, to perfect things, right? It's a mutual understanding between these two. So even though they have a strong ability to communicate, there could be many times that they don't need to say anything. They don't need to say anything to each other. It's a natural understanding. It'll, you know, it just is. They're both going to be like, have this critical nature about how they feel about things, and even how they approach how they feel about things. So the relationship between each other, it'll be the same way, you know, where when they go to critique their feelings, or maybe even withhold their feelings because of their critical nature of them, you know, and not having to be overly emotional all the time. It's not that they can't be, because you if you put a Scorpio sun onto this changes the dynamic. You get what I'm saying? But still, they will, either way, whatever they're feeling, they would like to vent about it or express it, you know, in a way that they can. If you take a Scorpio sun sign and you put it with the Virgo moon, you may get them waiting. Like, if they become emotional, they may wait for a while, then speak on what it was that happened to them. But the point is, they'll have that natural understanding and patience with each other. I will say this, like, I really do feel like it, to promote spending time together with each other, because you're both going to be kind of like into what you're into and busy with that at times, especially if it has to do with something that you're working on, or you want to, like, what your work in general that you do. Something that can assist with bringing you together or having you spend quality time together is working on something together. Starting a project that you're into together. Even if, let's say, you guys both have something that you're interested in, or you want to do, or you like doing, and you know that both of you like doing it, start that. you know, because let's say you like gardening or collecting flowers or plants or painting or playing games, video games, whatever the case may be. You can do that together, or when you're one of the other can monitor it. So let's say you're doing the plants and you're both of you guys can go to the store, pick out different plants. Both of you guys can water the plants. Both of you guys can make sure the plants get sun. But let's say there's times when both of you guys are not doing that. It's still, because you're working on something else or you're doing something else, one of you are still able to maintain that. One of you are still able to check the plants. Okay, let's see if it needs to be watered. Let's move it into the sunlight, blase, you know, closer to the window, whatever. Okay. If it was something you did like vlogged together, both of you guys can do that together. But then again, one or the other is able to keep it up on days where you both can't do it together, because you have that interest there already in the thing that you're doing. But bringing it together with something that you both like to do is, you know, it's a way to promote being together, having quality time together. Other than that, like, you guys are going to have a natural understanding. I'm not saying that you're just going to be sitting up there, communicating all the time, but you can. Like I said, depending on what other placements, like what sun sign each of you has, it could be where one of you guys is ready to talk and discuss feelings or discuss things right off bat. And then it could be to where maybe you have to wait a little while to present, a conversation on like an argument that happened or how one person felt about something or the other. Virgo moons are quite intellectual as well. So let's say you had a relationship and you had children. You could very well decide to teach your children about like practical things that's needed in life. What needs to be taken care of, what responsibilities that they can have. And some Virgo moons though can like not necessarily spoil their kids, but take on a lot of responsibilities that their children have. Take on a lot of responsibilities, especially if they felt like when they were growing up, they wore the brunt of a lot of the responsibilities. I mean, it could really go either way, but they could be like, okay, well, you know what? I think my kid needs to be a kid and play and not have to worry about all this stuff. But you might even have like a schedule or a plan in place. Now, I will say this with Virgo moons, you can have Virgo moons that could be extremely picky. I feel like these two would be picky about food items, like what they eat, where they eat, okay, how they eat, when, or especially what and where. But at the same time, it could be, these Virgo moons can be picky in general. Like, oh yeah, I don't want my blanket dirty, or I don't want my, I don't want to eat off is the table dirty, being very irritated when it comes to that type of stuff, where each other will understand it, even if one is not as tidy or clean as the other. Is like, it understands one person. I shouldn't say it, but one person understands the other. Like, okay, yeah, this person is critiquing again, or being critical, or pointing this out or pointing that out, but at the same time, I get it. So the point that I'm trying to make is these two could be extremely clean, or I wouldn't even say extremely dirty. I mean, that could come up, but I don't think I should go as far as saying extremely dirty. Like, you know how you have some people to where they have chore, maybe they wash clothes on a certain day, maybe they clean up their house on a certain day. Virgo moons either can have this routine and be very stickler about it, or they could be like, like, I don't really feel like cleaning up today, like, I'll clean up another day, and let's say there was a Cancer sun here. It can really create a situation to where, the person is not dirty, but they could collect a lot of stuff, or they could put off cleaning something or doing something, because they may just be in a mood or whatever. But I would say these two, for the most part, understand each other, very practical, think practical, approach life, practical, work to earn, gain money, look to, it's like doing things together, even when going on a date. Sometimes it's like, okay, so let's go to this buffet. Not every single time, y'all, because y'all know I don't be trying to judge y'all, but could be very practical and, you know, overthink things too. So these two can like to worry. That's one of the things that could be something that affects the compatibility between these two. But you know, there's and then maybe being alike too much. That's the only thing when I see with conjunct signs, especially conjunct moon signs. It's like being alike too much. You might sometimes need like a different moon sign, maybe possibly like a Cancer moon or even a Capricorn moon or something like that to like balance it out. Because this is with not just with Virgo moon and Virgo moon, but this is like with any sign conjunct each other. The problem, what ends up happening is that it'll be like the two people are too much of the same. It was like, okay, well, you're just like we're too much of the same, and you want to have a little bit of contrast, because, you know, it's kind of irritating sometimes to have to deal with somebody else that's presenting a certain behavior that you know that you could present yourself, or maybe slightly different, but it's all like a lot the same. It could be irritating because you could feel like, okay, like, dang, I can't, like, does this person get where I'm coming from? It's like, yeah, they do. But at the same time, because they do, you know, they're like, okay, well, you should get me too. It's just a natural energy that exists there. But, you know, like I said, could be strong in communication, understanding, a very practical approach that each person could understand and value within the other. And it's easy for you to be on the same page with things, you know, and how you should move forward, what makes the best sense, what could earn the most money, you know, what. And they both wouldn't mind working at the relationship. They both wouldn't mind working on or at something to see it through, you know. And this one too could be really good at helping each other, you know, like there's a word that comes to mind, I can't think of it right now. Assisting each other, supporting each other, like, oh, well, you know, making sure my responsibilities are taken care of when it pertains to my partner, my relationship, whatever, the home, you know, both working at that or being involved. So this is mostly good. I would say, like, if you could just refrain from, like, talk to each other more, or just, you know, understand, hold back sometimes with voicing out your thoughts about what's irritating you with the other one every single time. It's like pick and choose your battles, you know. And I think it should be good, you know. Sometimes just, you don't have to be practical, approach things like in a practical way every single time, you know. It's okay to just let go sometimes, like have something that you plan. Let's just say you have a day out the month, or like every so often, to where you guys just be like, okay, hey, we saved this money, you know, like picking locations or picking restaurants you want to try or activities you want to participate in, and actually putting something towards it or making it happen to where it's just more spontaneity there. Because, you know, once getting inside of some routine, these two, it could be very hard breaking yourselves out of that routine to spice things up. Okay, this has been Virgo Moon Compatibility. I'm Butterfly Light, and you know, I'll be back.